right, we're going to do take 2 because I got interrupted by a phone call. So for those of y'all, we're going to start all over again. So we are actually cheering Miss Jessica. Big weekend. Tell us what happened.
I graduated from Illinois State with a Master's in Family Nurse Practitioner this weekend.
I mean, that's a huge, huge accomplishment. How many years?
7 very long years. 7.
And for you, and I think what strikes me about your story is just you were in a whole different place.
Yes.
I mean, did you really see this coming, or how did you get here?
I exited a marriage. It was time to exit, and I had 2 little kids.
Which we've all been there, and I think
Right.
that's something that resonates with a lot of women.
Yeah.
You know, single mom.
I was
kids.
scared to leave.
Yeah.
I was scared to leave because I wasn't sure what I was going to do for my kids.
And how old were your kids then?
Gage was 8 weeks old and Ariana was 6.
Oh my gosh, I didn't realize Gage was that small.
Yeah, he was just this. Well, he wasn't small. He was just this fat little guy.
Yeah.
But I was in a career that it paid the bills. I had great insurance. I had pensions, but it just wasn't. It was not my passion. I didn't get fulfillment going to work to every day, and I knew though those paychecks were good. Those paychecks were not going to sustain the needs of 2 kids.
Right.
I mean, you start thinking braces, sports, cars, college. Yes.
Right? Food.
Gage's food bill
Yeah.
is massive.
Yeah.
You know, and so I decided I was already broke. I might as well start taking out student loans and be broke for a good reason.
So how did you decide on nursing?
Honestly, I wanted to do nursing when I was a young girl. At
Really?
18, I graduated from Landfair.
Okay.
Early, a semester or half a semester early, and I went to Lincoln Land and took classes. I took my CNA.
You did?
I did. I got my CNA license. I worked in a nursing home, and I was terrified.
You were terrified or you hated it? Which one?
A little bit of both.
Yeah.
It made me very sad.
Yeah.
I worked a lot with Alzheimer's
Yeah.
patients, and I didn't feel like the care was there. And it hurt me to kind of see that stuff happening. And so I ran away and didn't come back to it for years.
Wow. So how do you get to that point that, like you said, okay, I'm broke, I'm going to get the loans? Because the steps to becoming a nurse practitioner, there's this step, then this step, then the, you know, it's not just, hey, let's just get started. I mean,
No, which I didn't realize because, you know, I had when I was 18 and I didn't finish the classes at school, I didn't realize how important withdrawing from your classes is. For heaven's sakes, withdraw. Do not let them give you an F.
Right.
So in order to get the financial aid, I had to write a letter and ask approval for the board to forgive my younger self for my stupidity.
Right.
And so...
And you were young. I mean,
Yeah.
decisions made.
I had to prove to them, this is a new me. This is a determined me. Please help me go to your school.
Right.
And so they did. I then had to beg for child care assistance. I wasn't
Well,
getting...
that's what I'd say. So what do you do with your kids while you're at school?
You beg because they only either want to pay for you to go to work or they want to pay for you to go to school. But they don't want to pay for both. And if you work too much,
You don't get
can't
your
get help.
assistance. Yeah. That's the way our system works.
Yeah.
It's sad.
It's really sad because I did get a child support check that was finally owed to me. It was back pay, and they were like, "Oh, we're cutting you off."
No.
Yeah, he had got a settlement, and so they had sent me that settlement money because I hadn't been receiving paychecks for.
Well, you're
a long
damned if
time.
you do and damned if you don't.
Absolutely, I had to actually fight it,
Yeah.
and I won.
Yeah. Good
So
for
fight
you.
it.
Yeah. Good for you.
Because they said it's not reoccurring, so you can't claim it as income.
Right.
It's a one-time payment because I had to pay everybody else in the
Right.
meantime. So you have to jump through all of those hoops. There were times, so I did 2 years of prereqs at Lincoln Land for everything except the actual nursing classes. Right. And the first time I applied, they let me into the nursing classes. And then I had a amazing nurse at Memorial. Oh, a few of them on the floor I worked at. So Jenny Neff was my boss who hired me to work as a CNA at Memorial for my first job ever at Memorial. And there was a nurse there by the name of Krista Early. And I worked with Krista and I held her to a high regard. She is an amazing nurse, an amazing person. I was like, you are what I want to be. Like, when I look at a nurse, it is you. And her husband had worked with the ER. Right. And she says, nursing is really what you want to do. Look into the ER as well, because you're going to see everything. And so I said, well, you're a smart lady. I'm going to take her advice. With that advice came night shifts.
So how do you do that with kids?
You have people come into your home and stay with your kids overnights, which was really hard because a couple of times you think you know people's personality. When your daughter, who's 11, calls you at
just not feeling comfortable
2 o'clock in the morning and asks you how to start the washing machine because her little brother had pooped and she wanted to clean that up and the sitter didn't want to get up.
Oh my God.
And you're stuck in that ER, you're making $10 an hour.
And then, I mean, don't you get to the point where, like, really, is this worth it? Right. My kids are home with somebody else, and why am I doing this?
For them, like, you know, my daughter was old enough to know that there was some risks at home, right? And I've always told her, you should always be number one. I will never ever be in a position to depend on anyone for what my kids need again. I will never have to ask to borrow money. I don't ever want $17 again for groceries for the week.
I mean, I couldn't even imagine.
It's chili. Yeah. I cannot eat leftover chili. Right. Because that's what we had over and over and over again, because that's what I could do. You know, it's, so every test, you know, it was a step to the next direction. But I had to learn how to study as an adult learner. I didn't know how to study.
And you're working. Yes. So I'm studying, I'm working, I have kids, I have a household. Yes. I mean, that's a lot.
Yes. I used to pin Gage down and tickle him to remember the bones and the nerves.
Right.
Because I would visualize that in a test.
Right.
You know, it was ridiculous, but that's what worked.
Well, and we have to be very upfront. I mean, you didn't just graduate. You graduated with a 4.0. I mean, that's just like, wow.
I had many people doubt me.
Who doubted you?
Oh,
okay, maybe you don't, we probably shouldn't say names, but yeah.
Are you sure this is what you want to do?
Right.
You sure this is the time? Like, you've got 2 kids at home, you are leaving a steady paycheck. You know, for maybe or maybe not doing this school thing. You know, people have called it that. I had a person tell me I was a glorified rear-end wiper as a nurse. That's what nurses were.
I'm going to have to drink on that one.
Yeah.
I can't even.
Glorified them.
Oh. I don't want to know who that person is. But because I guess the part of it is, and I think sometimes as moms we lose sight, where I need to do everything for my kids, but sometimes the greatest gift you can give your children is to follow your own dream. I mean, I can't imagine what your kids think now when they see how much you've accomplished.
Yeah, because they had to give up a lot too.
Yeah.
You know, my daughter, more so engaged at this point, I couldn't afford the sports. Sports were not an option because 1, I didn't have the money, and 2, how do I get her to practice?
I would say, how would you have the time?
How do you get her anywhere?
Yeah.
I mean, I I would start work at 7 at night. I would get off at 7 in the morning. I would have to come home, get them to school, take a 2-hour nap, go to Lincoln Lands, be at school all day or clinical, go back to work that night. So Wednesday to Friday were my terrible days. I mean, I had to pull over the side of the road sometimes Friday because by then I'm on about 6 hours sleep since Wednesday morning. I'm like, how am I gonna stop? I gotta get out of the car, walk out of the car, get in the car, and go home. Like, it was tough. It was tough.
So now, looking back where you were, you've graduated, right? And we're looking at, you've done some interviews.
I did
Yeah.
a pretty big interview last Thursday. Oh man.
I know.
It was intense. I think just coming from the difference in professionalism.
Right.
So, you know, this organization that I interviewed with, they wanted to put all their cards on the table. This is what we have to offer. And I almost felt at the first part of the interview, I was interviewing them. What do you have to offer?
So that's what's interesting, because I think, and I had read in one of your posts, you're like, oh, I'm not sure I deserve this. And I was like, whoa. Hold up, right? Because I think you need to start flipping that script. Like, I have worked my ass off.
Yes.
And I've got a 4.0, I work hard. You know, people should want you know what I mean? So, I mean, you're completely deserving. And I bet that's how they felt. We're like, wow, she's interviewing with us. What can we offer you, because we think you're a great candidate? You know?
I'm just not a good horn tutor. I am not.
Yeah, we're taught to be humble, but I think it's okay to be proud.
It was, and that's one of the big things that they really seem to focus on in the more intense part of the interview is what I do for myself. I mean, how do you have this work-life balance? What do you do?
So how did you answer that? I'm curious.
Okay, you're gonna be proud of me.
All right,
You
bring
are
it
gonna
on,
be proud
bring it
of
on,
me.
bring it on.
I have been exercising more because I'm obviously have been eating some feels lately.
Right. That's okay. I've probably been drinking my feels lately too.
Because it's been intense. You know, we got some family stuff going on and some changes, and you know, I have been neglecting me, and you know, the doc that I actually interviewed with, I did some clinical time with him, and he's like, I can't start my day unless I've exercised. And I was like, you know, come on, think about this. So I have been increasing my cardio. I have a preceptor, Maria Rexroad, who is a godsend. That woman's amazing. She's like, you need more than 45 minutes. You gotta top that 45 minutes on that treadmill, Justin. It's gonna help. And it really has. So I get on that treadmill, and like today we did the 5K on Saturday.
That's right.
Yeah.
Right. Okay. All right.
It's ridiculous.
The fat ass 5K.
Yes.
Yeah.
We started those expectations
Lower.
so that we wouldn't feel
Right.
so bad. But it has. So like today, I spent my hour. I just walked. I didn't run today. I didn't push it because I can feel my hips kind of angry, up there a little bit. So you know, I didn't want to push it, but I still wanted my time.
So, because it seems like too, what I'm hearing as you've gone through these years, you've kind of amassed this tribe of people. So whether it's the nurses that you work with, getting that support, obviously Jason.
Yes.
So
Number one.
yeah. So talk a little bit about how that happened. I mean, to go
Jason?
from nobody
Oh.
to all of a sudden. Yeah. How did you guys meet, by the way?
We had a friend who
Yeah.
introduced us.
Yeah.
And Jason and I actually were just friends. And this friendship, his ex actually told him, you don't belong with me. You two belong together. Like, but
Yeah.
but we'd love to go work out together.
Right.
We have this personality that I'm weak here, he is strong here, and vice versa. And I think when we
That yin and that
combine,
yang.
oh, it's amazing.
Mhm.
You know, my parents ended up moving from Taylorville to Chatham
Mhm.
to try to help out with the kids more.
That's great.
Oh, they're great. I mean, well, my niece, Allie, she's still in Taylorville. The other three were here, and they really knew. Like, I've struggled with
Right.
help with the kids
Right.
because it's hard, and so they came and helped. You know, I got a couple of girlfriends, and it's like, okay, I gotta get my kids here. You gotta get your kids here. I'll take your kids here,
Perfect.
and then the next day you take. You know, it's kind of a swapping thing. It's even the girls that I went to school with for this last venture. You know, Brittany came and watched the kiddos so Jason and I could go see Elton John. You know, she came and stayed with them.
And that's got to be so important, because I think that's where a lot of women have difficulty, because they feel so isolated.
It's huge.
Yeah. So find your tribe for sure.
Oh, the tribe
Yeah.
is everything.
Yeah.
To have someone that's willing to give their self to you and your kids. You know, I had another friend, Carissa, who she was there all the time. You know, and she was struggling trying to take care of her tribe. Her grandparents were sick, and she's like, "What can I do for you?"
Wow.
You know, that's the big thing. Like, people that will give of themselves give everything. That's truly it for me. Like, I wish I had somebody that I would have listened to back then.
Well, so I was going to say, like, if you had words to say to a woman, maybe that was in your situation years ago, who really was just like, I don't know if I can do this.
You can do it. You can do anything. You have to find the right why.
Yeah.
The why is what
Right.
makes the difference. Because when I look at my kids, I want them to have opportunities that education and money will help. They know mom loves them. You know, you can't buy that. But I can buy Gage going to jiu-jitsu to help.
Because he enjoys it.
Well,
Yeah.
it feeds that ADHD.
Yeah. Right. Right.
You know, and his professor's like, this is the perfect spot for it. You know, let him get that out in a positive manner. If I didn't make money, I couldn't do that. You know, I couldn't put braces on my daughter's teeth. You know, I couldn't put her in Lutheran. You know, I couldn't give them those things that can help start a good foundation.
Yeah, and I think, you know, and it's interesting when you talked about, because you have really pulled yourself up, but it seemed like there were all these, like, roadblocks and barriers with, you know, the funding. I work too much, I don't work enough, and having to, you know, get in the good graces to get back in school. You know, you almost wish it didn't have to be so hard.
That's 100% correct.
Yeah.
You know, I wish they would revamp a system like that. Like, I'm not using.
You're not taking advantage of anything.
Right.
This
You
is
know,
just.
I was not proud that I had a link card.
Right. Right.
I was not. I was mortified. I would keep it in my pocket. I wouldn't even put it in my wallet because I didn't want people to see me pull that blue card
Right.
out of my wallet. I kept it in my pocket and I would slide it. You know, because people are so judgy.
Oh, they are. Because they think you're selling it or you're buying stuff you shouldn't buy.
Right.
But I think, you know, it's unfortunate because really that link card is for people like you.
Right.
You know, that you have a family. You're trying to get yourself better. You're going to get off the link card. You're not going to stay on it forever.
It was not a job.
Right.
It was a boost.
Right. Right.
And yes, I needed the boost because I made the choice to be married. I made the choice to have children. I did make that choice. But I had to choose then whether I was going to be a statistic or I was going to beat them.
Right.
And when you've got these two precious little things looking at you, they don't care what's going on here. They're hungry, or their diaper's wet, or they've outgrown their clothes, or they're ready for Santa Claus and the Easter Bunny. you can't have them not have that stuff because it's unfair. And so you have to just keep climbing, keep jumping through the hoop. You gotta rob Peter to pay Paul. I mean,
Eventually it all works out.
Yeah,
Right.
there's times where I'm like, all right, well, you're gonna get shut off this month, so I'll pay you,
Right.
and next month I'll pay you.
Right, right.
But it's just that's how it has to be. And if they'd revamp that system, like I'll give
There
you
weren't
my
so many
grades.
barriers, right?
I'll give
Right.
you my grades. I will take
Right.
any drug test you want.
Mhm.
What do you want me to do?
Right.
Like, and I think, that kind of annoys me with some of this system. It's like, oh, I don't want to take a drug test to get this. I had to take a drug test to have every job
Mhm.
I have, every new set of schooling, CNA,
Right,
RN,
right.
BSN, Masters, drug test, drug test, drug test, drug test.
Mhm.
CNA, drug test. My job, drug test. My new job, drug test. And that's fine. I will do whatever you want me to do. Just help me help myself.
Right.
So I did.
So what's next? So you're gonna have a job. I call it a job. Not that you haven't been working. I
A
feel
big
bad
girl
saying
job.
that. Like,
I have a big girl job.
So I mean, do you foresee yourself sometime? I don't know, teaching or how are you gonna help pull up the next Jessica? I guess.
I spoke to them actually in my interview, and I said, obviously, I need to get my feet wet
Absolutely.
and get my groove. I call it. Because if the job that I interviewed for is offered to me, it's going to be intense learning for me.
It's gonna be a big change.
Huge. And so I'm going to have to spend some time for that. But I asked them, will you allow me to precept? Because I'm telling you, the preceptors I had, from Springfield Clinic and SIU were outstanding. They loved what they did, and they did it for a reason.
Right.
Even my OB-GYN clinicals, which she knew this is not my favorite.
Right.
I don't have
Just
a
get me
clue.
through here.
I
Just
don't have
get
a
me
clue
through
what I'm doing. I've got the parts, but I do not know how to work this thing. She was enthusiastic
Right.
and positive and made me so comfortable. I want to give that to somebody.
Right.
I tell, I'm kind of like the old mom at work. And, I've told a couple of girls, there's this one girl, I just adore her that I work with. And I see a lot of myself in her, a lot of my younger, spunky self. And, she's a single mom. And I every once in a while I'm like, hey, I know you're being funny on Facebook. And I appreciate that. It made me giggle. But I can't like what you like on Facebook. Because other people will see it. And you got to think of how you present yourself.
Right.
Because this is a job interview that you don't even know you're in. I said an employer can
People
just
are watching.
click. All they've got to do. And I told her, I was like, I wish somebody would have told me that because it's there forever. And I love this girl. I think she's just a fantastic mom. Like, I see all of these things that she's doing with her kiddo, and I am like, you are such a good mom. And, I want her to know, like, I care. And that's the only, I told her, I was like, I only tell you because I care.
Well, and I think that's what we need, because I think a lot of times we walk through our lives kind of just in our own silo, and we don't really interact with other people. And I think it's okay to say, hey, you know what? That was really cool what you just did, or what you said, or you made me feel so good at, and I think we're probably not as good at doing that, so kudos to you for stepping out of that box and saying, hey, I'm just trying to help you out.
Because I care. Because I just want awesome things for her. Like, I want her to feel this one day. And I think she can, because she's so strong-willed. And she's a smart cookie, and it's, but I also think we have to learn to accept our own weaknesses and limitations, and be okay with people calling us out on those.
It's constructive.
Yeah, because we all have them. You know, my facial expressions from time to time.
Oh my gosh. I know. I have to learn those too. I just have to go like this.
Yes.
And not move.
Yes.
Although everybody can see it in my eyes, I'm like, okay, just don't look at me. Yeah.
Yes.
But that'll come with time too. And then, you know, you learn to just take a deep breath and process your words, and they just come out a different way than what your face is saying.
Yes. So that's been like my biggest thing.
Yeah, that'll come with time.
Yeah.
I think you're gonna do fantastic. Yeah, I just, when I, you know, was looking at your graduation pictures and all these wonderful things, and you have kind of this radiating spirit. So truth be told, I got a tattoo, as some of you know, a couple weeks ago, and let me tell you, it hurt like and as much as like my daughter was on me and all my friends were on me, I just kept looking at Jessica, because you just had this like, I got you, girl.
Right.
Like, it's okay.
You
got it. You got it. So you had this kind of like, you just radiate this confidence and this strength. So
thank you.
Yeah, kudos. Well, congratulations. Yeah, long road, but you made it. You know, congratulations to you on your graduation, and you and Jason. You guys are going to be planning like a wedding.
Yes.
Of course, the whole world wants to be invited, but we can't. But we'll.
It's June 13th of next year, because 13 is our lucky number.
All right. So very excited to see what the world brings for you, and you deserve every minute of it. If I see or hear you say that, I don't know what I did to deserve this, you are going to get like a
smack up against
I'll tell you what you did to deserve it. You worked your ass off. That's what you did to deserve it.
Did.
So, cheers.
Cheers.
Cheers, my dear.
Thank you.